Okay guys, this next tutorial is going to be on how to create a category, an article, and a menu item. There's three things to do, and that's pretty much the basics of everything that you'll be doing to add content to your Joomla site. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and log in to our Joomla backend. And again, you want to put in the name of your website, and I think the first time I said that was what, a backslash, is a forward slash, whatever, you see what it is. Then administrator, put in your username, password, log in. Okay, and once we get there, again, the first thing we're going to create is a category. After that, we're going to create an article. Then we're going to create a menu item so that you can see that information. Now, just so I can show you the finished product and how that's actually going to look on your site, we'll view my site. So, for instance, this is your menu. These are your menu items. I'm going to click on Joomla Tutorials. When I click on this, it goes to an article that I wrote out that says Joomla Tutorials, and I put this information in there with a little hyperlink. So I'm going to show you it, and then we're going to show you how to create it. The first thing we're going to do is go to the actual article itself. Hold on, let me go back. All of these icons down here, they also represent, or also can be accessed through this banner, through this menu bar up here. For instance, add a new article. I can go over here and click on content, go to article manager, add new article. I strongly suggest that you just focus on these here because these are the main ones that you'll be using. Again, you can get to them all here, but it's kind of confusing, especially if you don't use Joomla a lot. So just kind of stay away from those and just use these here. Now I'll do my best to always just use these icons here. So again, we're going to go to article manager. Again, I'm just showing you first before we create everything. So in the article manager, these are lists of all the articles that I have on my website. Now, articles are considered pages. So for instance, this Joomla tutorial article corresponds to this page. Okay, so we're going to open it up. And I'll scroll down here, open it up just a little bit, and as you see, Joomla tutorials with learn how to edit your Joomla site here. Go here, same thing. Okay, so we're going to close that out. You're going to look at the next thing. Hold on. Oh, and if you notice, if you saw what I just did, let's say you're in the article manager and you want to get back to all of your icons, you're going to go to Site, Control Panel. Okay, so that we were in the article manager. Now we're going to look at categories. Categories are just basically, how can I put it? Everything is either categorized or uncategorized. You don't really need to understand why things are categorized because you're probably not going to be doing too much creations other than just articles and maybe blogs. But you can create any category that you like, whatever you want to call it. Now, as you see, I have one called Joomla Tutorials. So every time I create an article that's for a Joomla tutorial, I assign it to the category Joomla Tutorials. And I'll show that to you by going here. We'll open back up that Joomla tutorial article. And as you see right here under category, it says Joomla Tutorials. And these are a list of all the categories that I can choose from. Uncategorized, featured, articles, Joomla Tutorials. So now when I close that and I go back to categories, you see that, uncategorized, featured, articles, Joomla Tutorials. So let's say we want to create a new category. Well, no, hold on. That's not going to get to that yet. we're going to go to the menu. So let's go back to Site, Control Panel, and we'll go to Menu Manager. Be careful, because when I first started using Joomla, I would always click on Media Manager thinking it was the Menu Manager, and I would get lost. So just remember, Menu Manager. You're going to be using mainly Article Manager, Add a New Article, Category, Menu Manager. I'll show you Media Manager, but just not yet. So let's go to Menu Manager. Now, when I set up your site, and on your back end, you probably will not have more than one menu, possibly two, at the most three. So, without confusing you, I'm going to basically tell you or show you exactly how these menus correlate to your actual website. For instance, this menu up here, right now, it's called Content Horizontal Menu. As you see, it goes across the top horizontally. Main menu, there's nothing in that. I don't have a main menu right now. When I set yours up, I am going to call this the Content Horizontal Menu, or this menu here. I'm going to name that the main menu. So you won't have this. You probably will have this Content Vertical Menu, and you'll have another one that says either Content Special Menu or Content Footer Menu. Okay, it's just going to depend on how you wanted your site designed. So you'll see those three things. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the main menu. Again, this says main menu, but when you get your site, this will say main menu. And so you would click on main menu, and it would bring up all of your menu items. Now, if you notice, if it has a check mark with a green, that means it's published. That means it's visible here. If there's a red dot, that means it's enabled or disabled and you cannot see it. For instance, Joomla Tutorials has a green check mark. That means I can see it right here. Now, just to show you how quick that is, once I click unpublish, it becomes a red dot. Now if I go here, when I click refresh, the Joomla Tutorials menu tab is now gone. Okay? We're going to turn that back on. Alright, we're going to go to Control Panel. Alright, so now, the first thing I want to point out is, I guess, an acronym that I learned when I first started using Joomla, and that was CAM. C like cat, A like apple, M like Mary. If you remember that, you'll always know what order to go in to create your articles. C stands for category. So the first thing you always want to do, let's just say I have, hold on, let's refresh. Let's say I want to create a, we're just going to call it a test page, but let's say you want to create another page, okay? The first thing you're going to do is go to your category manager. You're going to add new category. We're going to title it whatever we want. For instance, let's just call this test category. And that's all you really have to do. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to add anything. You don't have to put anything in there. Just click save and close. That's it. That's the first thing you want to do, is create the category. That's C. A, article. That's where you're going to create the actual content. So we're going to go Site, Control Panel, and click Add New Article. Well, let's put the title. Let's call it Test Article. Alright. The alias will always fill in itself. You don't have to do that unless you want to. I strongly suggest you just let it auto-populate. Category. Test category. Now, something I forgot to point out, but if you look over here, it tells you what each one of these, what do you call it? Sections are. Title section, alias, category, status. If it has a little red asterisk, that means it's mandatory that you put something there. Now this, again, you can uncategorize it. You can put whatever you want. However, for the test purposes that we're using, we're creating a brand new article in a totally different category. So we put test article, we use that test category that we just put. Now, the difference between categories, articles, is you must have content here in order to save this particular document. So just for test purposes, what we're going to do is I'm going to go to what's called lorem ipsum, and I'm going to grab just some fake text, and there I'm going to go and paste all that in there just so I can have it in there. Alright, so now that's there, and we're going to click Save and Close. Now, just to show you how that alias auto-populates, I'm going to go back to test article and see it automatically populates test-article. Save and close. You'll also notice right up under it, test article, it tells you what the alias is. You don't have to worry about, what is the alias for or anything. That's something that the actual program uses. Don't even worry about that. Like I said, always just let it auto-populate unless you specifically want it for something, but 9 out of 10 times you won't. Alright, so the first thing we did was what? We created the category. That category was test category. Then we created the article. That was the A. This is test article. So the next thing we need to do is we need to get it so that the people can actually get to that article or get to that content. So what that is going to be called, that's the M, or the menu item. So we're going to go here, Site, Control Panel, and we're going to go to Menu Manager. Now again, on your particular site, you're going to click on Main Menu. So we'll click on that, and now we're going to click New. Alright, now let's take a look. There's 3 things that are mandatory that you put here. First is the menu type, the menu title, the menu location. Alright, so menu type. If you look, it gives you a little hyperlink or a tooltip. It says the type of link that it's going to be. In case you ever wonder, well, what is that going to be? How will I know? You just click on select. For this particular case, and 9 out of 10 times, what you're going to be looking for are articles. And it's going to go to a single article. Just wait a moment, then it changes. Now, I usually like to go to the right at this point. However, you can do it however you want. You can put in the type, the menu item type, and then you're going to put the title. The menu title is what will show up here. So we're going to put test article. Now over here, you have to select that article. Once you click select or change, you're going to look for what you called that article, and there it is, test article. The next thing is, again, the menu location. That's something that's necessary. Now, it's normally going to default to your main menu. If, for instance, let's just say I had a side menu over here, or I had a footer menu down here, then I could change that here. I would tell it to go to the special menu, excuse me, or go to the vertical menu. But we're going to use the content horizontal menu, which in your case is going to be the main menu. So once we have all those things selected, we're going to click Save and Close. And as you notice, it always gives you menu items successfully saved. Now, the way you test it, we're going to go back here to the test site, and we're going to click Refresh. And there we have test article. Click on test article, and there is the text that we placed into the article. That is just a very, very basic of how you're going to create the article. The next thing I'm going to do is actually show you how to go in, structure your article, add images to the article, position it so that it's, as you see how we have lots of, not too much space on here. So we're just going to go in and show you how to really edit the actual article and make it look pretty, make it look more like this content here. Okay.